So I saw this kid at the gym today, and I got really inspired because this was a young man, probably 11 or 12, 10, 11 or 12, in a wheelchair, and he was doing leg day. He was doing leg curls. He was doing leg extensions. He was doing the leg press. Remember, in a wheelchair, and what he did was he had one of his parents. He had both of his parents there with him, and he was doing his own thing. He would have his parents help him get from his chair to each piece of equipment, like in and out. And I mean, this dude was going hard. He was going at it. He was like grabbing the bars where you hold yourself and go. And man, he was really pushing and he was squeezing and just doing a bunch of reps and just going, 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 going. And I was so impressed with this kid because this kid, he had he had every excuse to not do leg day, right? He's in a wheelchair. He had every excuse to not do leg day, but he still did leg day. He didn't skip the hardest day of the week. He did leg day. I was so inspired by this guy. I was so impressed with this young man. And one of the things I think I was impressed by was, one, he did it. And I don't think anyone was telling him that he couldn't do it. He did it. He went after it. He was putting in the reps. I was walking by him and I was watching him, and I would give him knuckles or high five, or I would give him a little hint or a tip to help kind of maximize the movement or something like that, just because I was inspired by the kid. Yeah, there's a turn. It's been on my mind all weekend. I heard it said a couple of times last week. It was said in my presence, two words that I can't stand. And there are two words that you have to eradicate these words from your vocabulary. When you put I and can't together, that is a self-defeating thought. You aren't even giving yourself a chance. And what's even worse is, if you think about it, you're reinforcing that principle of that phrase. I don't even want to say it. You're reinforcing that principle of that phrase like several times in your mind. One, you're thinking about it. Two, we know that words come from how you feel. So you feel that way about yourself. So it comes out of your mouth because you feel that way. It comes out of your mouth. You've put it out there into the air. You've put that phrase, that self-defeating phrase, out into the air. And now you hear it. And when you hear yourself say it, you actually begin to process and believe whatever it was that you put after those two little words. I want you to get rid of the apostrophe and the T and change can't to can. I can, right? How many of us, the little train that could, I think I can, I think I can, I think I, and the dude did. He climbed the hill, right? He got over it. It took everything that he had, but he got over it. Coach Stewart used to say to us when we were practicing basketball, he would say, hey, look, there's no can't. He would say, look, you've got to get out. You've got to put in the reps, because there's always someone somewhere putting in the reps. When you're sitting around eating ravioli or playing Madden on the whatever it was, that game console that we had, he says someone is out. They're shooting. They're putting in the reps. They're getting it done. When you're not in the gym, someone is getting it done. Someone is putting in the reps, putting in the work. Here's my thing, man. You may not be able to do something. You may not have the skill set or the knowledge to be able to do a thing. But the skill set and the knowledge is out there, and information is out there. It's been suggested that information on planet Earth is doubling roughly every day. Statistics for YouTube says that over 300,000, I think it's up to 335,000 hours of video content is being added to YouTube daily. Malcolm Gladwell suggested in his book, The Outliers, that it takes about 10,000 hours for us to achieve mastery in a thing. 10,000 hours on a 2,000-hour work year, that's about 5 years. It was the guy based out of Austin, Texas, Noah Kagan, who suggests, because of information technology and the information that we have access to right now, he suggests that a person can get to mastery beyond competency in roughly 5,000 hours, because we have tutorials, we have content, we have these things. Now, I've spoken on this earlier in another video. I talked to you guys about how I didn't know how to play guitar, and I went to YouTube and I went to Ultimate Guitar and I learned how to play guitar, and I didn't know how to do certain things, and I've gone to the internet to find good resources. And it's not just enough to have good resources, you also have to know the questions that you need to ask. What walls are you running into? It was Marcus Aurelius who said that the obstacle becomes the pathway. The thing that's in the way of the thing that's standing in your way is actually in and of itself the way. Whatever you're running into, don't run into it, run through it. Find the answers to the questions. If you want to edit video and you don't know how to use the content, man, there's tutorials. If you want to run a camera and you don't know how to do it, call a friend, right? That's what I did. We're using a new camera for this live. It's this big, studio production grade camera. And here we are using this thing to shoot a live video just for content on Facebook. Phoned a friend. Yeah, this is how you do it. Great, let's go. And I did it. And you can do it. And we can do it. I think sometimes if you would just believe that you can do it, then you can do it, whatever it is. Never put those two words together. I can't. If you say it long enough, you might actually start to believe it. And if you start to believe it, then you're chopping off your own nose. You're chopping off your own growth. You're building an imaginary ceiling over your head. And if you believe that about yourself, then you may actually start saying that to others. You may actually start becoming bitter and jealous and envious because others are doing the things that you kept telling yourself that you couldn't do. It's you can do. You can do. So gain skill, gain utility, gain the ability, put in the work, figure out how to do it. I was so inspired by that young man in the gym today. He's in a wheelchair and he's doing leg day. Like, that was fuel for my workout. That was better than any energy drink I've ever had. I get more juiced. I get more excited seeing someone who shouldn't be doing a thing. I get so excited seeing that. I get so excited by others who can. And I get so excited by others who are. So, my encouragement to you, think about every word you're allowing to come out of your mouth. Your words matter. They matter. They communicate your heart. They communicate how you really feel about a thing. Don't filter yourself. Don't edit yourself. Evaluate yourself. Evaluate your words. Evaluate your thought life. And why are you thinking a certain way? In an earlier video, I talked about how our personality is like the armor that we put on as we come to the world. And we put on armor when we know we're going into a battle. And sometimes we come into the world and we know we're coming into a battle because we've experienced pain before in the world. How many of you've been offended, or you've been cut off in traffic, or in a classroom once upon a time, a teacher or a classmate made a really nasty comment about you and said that you weren't this or you weren't that or you were only good for this, that, and another? How many of you've had a family member or a parent or someone in your life just completely just slam a door in your face when you knew that you very well had the capability and the ability to do a thing? So you have to check those things at the door, and you have to acknowledge it for what it is, and you have to get past those shame moments and push past those shame moments. And don't let anyone tell you what you can or cannot do. I'll wrap it up with this. My oldest son, Jaden, when he was 5 or 6 years old, we were out on a lake. We were on the boat out on the lake, and we come up to this place where there's a rope swing. And we climb up this hill, and this hill was probably 30 or 40 feet off the water. The rope swing was probably 10 or 15 feet off the water where you let go of the swing to go into the water. And we get up there, and I'm not the best with heights. At least I wasn't the best with heights at that time. And it kind of freaked me out a little bit. I'd lost a lot of my athleticism due to being overweight. So it wasn't like I wasn't really excited about this endeavor. But Jaden is there beside me, and Jaden can tell that I'm a little nervous. And Jay says to me, he looks up, little dude looks up to me about right, like down here at my waist, and he looks up to me and he says to me, and I'll never forget, he says to me, "Dad, just because you're afraid doesn't mean I have to be." Oh, dude. You better believe I went off that rope swing. I went off of that rope swing with vigor. Did it freak me out? Yes. Was I a little nervous? Was I a little honestly afraid? Yes, a little bit, but I still did it. You know what? And I did it again because it was fun. And I was there in the water waiting on him to let go of the swing so that I could be there for him when he fell into the water. Find somebody in your life that's encouraging. Jim Rohn, you've heard it said, you will be the average of your 5 closest relationships. Are your relationships encouraging you, or are your relationships stopping you back or holding you? What kind of self-talk is coming out of your mouth? It's been said that you should fake it until you make it. For me, that's a bunch of horse manure. It's not about faking it until you make it. It's about being it until you become it. Be it until you become it. So that's a thought that I had on my mind. I wanted to share with you guys. I hope that this was in some way to you encouraging. If this or any video that we've done has been an encouragement to you, we'd love to hear your comments. We'd love to see your reactions. Man, it's an honor when you guys share these videos. Like, for real, that's legit. Thanks for being awesome. Have an amazing rest of your Sunday. And guess what? Monday's coming, so let's get at it. Let's go to work. Let's put in the reps, and let's do our best to show up for this world around us. You guys have an awesome rest of your weekend. From Life That Counts HQ, my name's John. Catch you later.